we got a problem. Consistency is arguably the most important skill you need to develop if you want to have a strong name and a successful career in the music industry. And if you're a producer or a sample maker, you've definitely heard this a million times. Whenever producers who've kind of made it are asked what's the secret to their success, it always revolves around consistency or being the hardest worker in the room. But what does that really mean? So let's talk about the boogeyman that's standing between you and your dreams and robbing you of your creativity. I still remember when it hit me. It was 2021 and I was already a couple of years into my routine of uploading 4 beats a week. Everything was going great. Beat sales were up, my audience was growing, I was being consistent, and for the first time ever, it felt like my career was on the right path. And if you're a producer, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It always feels like you don't know where you're going. There's always some sort of uncertainty. But back then, it just felt like it was on the right path, and that felt so good. I felt like my career was going somewhere. And I remember receiving a DM from an artist asking if one of my beats was available. And to be completely honest, this sounds horrible, but I really didn't care what this artist needed. All I wanted to do was get another beat sale so I could get that dopamine hit from that PayPal notification. It's horrible, but it's the truth. So I went over to BeatStars and opened up my catalog. I pressed play on the first beat, and I was like, this is not the one. Pressed play on the second beat, that wasn't the one either. Pressed play on the third one, I was like, this might be the one. But I was like, hold up, this sounds exactly like my first beat. So I go back up, press play on the first beat, and I was like, oh, this sounds kind of like my second beat. And it was kind of weird because I thought like BeatStars was glitching. So I scroll all the way down to my like 40 beats down. I press play and it sounded exactly like the last 3 beats I played. And I was like, you see, my business was running smoothly. If we ignore the fact that my mental health was plummeting and stress levels were at an all-time high, everything was going according to plan. I was making sales every single day. That was every producer's dream. But I realized that in order to achieve all that, I had made a deal I hadn't quite been aware of at the time, but a deal nonetheless. It was all clear now. I had agreed to trade quality for quantity. I had stopped growing as a creator and had allowed myself to forget what my goals were all along. I no longer experimented. It all had to do with efficiency. I tried to keep my emotions separate from my art, and it was horrible. You see, consistency has become some sort of buzzword in the producer community. And hey, I'm definitely part of the problem. We've kind of romanticized it and have highlighted its importance time and time again. And as a result, a lot of producers, including me back then, believed that this churning process was normal. Consistency is subjective. In other words, consistency can mean completely different things for two individuals with different goals. Let's say, for example, consistency for producer A is uploading 1 beat a day. Who's to say consistency for producer B is following that same routine? Producer A might want to run a successful type beat channel, but producer B might want to connect with artists and build valuable relationships. When we hear successful producers talk about consistency, we automatically assume that we're on the same path as them, that we have the same goals. So we try to imitate their consistency, which in turn leads to massive amounts of stress and anxiety over nothing. So if you find yourself in a similar boat of being constantly stressed and anxious and pumping out the same type beat with a different name, here's what you can do. You need to build a healthier relationship with consistency, whatever that might mean to you. At a very basic level, consistency can just be showing up. And that's okay. Don't eliminate consistency as a whole and become this most inconsistent person ever, especially if you have goals in a certain area. But don't let it dictate your life either. Take a look at where you are, where you want to be, and what your goals are. And be honest with yourself. Consistency is what you make it be. It doesn't mean a certain number of beats. It means done in the same way over a period of time. Once a week, once a month, once every 2 months. It's all consistency as long as it aligns with your goals and you can keep up with it. Look at consistency as more of a tool to give yourself structure and less of a rule. You're the artist. It works on your terms. If you enjoyed this video or found it valuable in any sort of way, I'd appreciate if you subscribed. See ya.